Since I started this weight loss journey, I ignored all the doctor's advice and I decided to lose weight my way. At this point, I'm on a mission to get down below 300 pounds with little to no exercise. A ridiculous goal of mine, but it's still a goal of mine. And eventually, I hope to get down to 235 pounds, most likely with exercise. As soon as I hit the 300-pound mark, that's when I'm going to start moving some more. My starting weight when I began this journey was a whopping 435 pounds. That's incredible. And throughout the process of losing weight, I've transitioned into several different types of lifestyles. I've been using fasting, ketosis, KetoVore, carnivore, and I eventually ended up doing a KetoVore type carnivore eating principles. Now, I even came up with my own 90-10 principle that I use on the daily just to keep myself on track. And that 90-10 principle, that includes 90% meats and fats and 10% I love my life. That's just how I live, and that's how I'm doing all of this. And when I began this entire process, I was just doing this 5 days a week. I wasn't focused on the weekends. I would tend to relax on the weekends and just do a little bit kind of off the rail type eating, but I was always trying to keep in mind that I was going to prepare to get back into it Monday through Friday. And before all this, I was just the average guy bumping into walls like everybody else. I was gaining weight, I was losing weight, I was gaining weight again. And it was just a constant roller coaster ride of just trying to figure out what to do and what works for me. But like I said, I was just the average guy that thought he knew a little bit about health and nutrition. So let's not be average anymore. Okay, let's get on into the video topics I want to cover this week. I do want to talk about some basic foods I have around the house and do a little bit of comparison and how ridiculous some of these comparisons are, considering they were totally different when we were living like back in the 80s. And that's right around the time frame everything changed, was between the 80s and the 90s. And then all of a sudden our bodies started to change. The foods we were eating started to change drastically, and a lot of this stuff happened mainly because of profits. And another important part of these videos is my weekly weight loss. So I take my weight every week on a Saturday morning. I get up and my cats typically walk me down the hall. Now, I know there's some people out there that want to see me fail. So if that's not worth subscribing to, you'll never know if I fail or succeed. So if you like supporting the morbidly obese on a weight loss journey such as mine, by all means, please subscribe to the channel. Be sure to like that video and give me a comment down below and let me know your thoughts and opinions of the video or other topics. I really do appreciate everybody that chimes in and talks about their personal experience of weight loss themselves. We don't judge at this channel. I don't care what type of dieting, weight loss type thing you have going on. That doesn't matter to me. I just want everybody to do good, and hopefully we can all learn something together, because that's how I've been learning this entire time, is through the comment section and conversing back and forth through people in the community. And if you want to be sure you get my next upload, be sure to hit that notification bell. So far, Carnivore and KetoVore, they just simply work for me, especially with my eating disorder of I see food and I want to eat everything. I grew up in a generation of you have to eat everything on your plate. So if there's food on the plate or if there's leftovers, somebody's got to eat it. And I always felt responsible to be the one that had to, make sure none of the food went to waste. And that was part of my weight gain in the first place. So eating mainly meats and fats, that's pretty much how I stay on track these days. Is the meats and fats, they fill me up quickly. I feel satiated after every time that I eat a meal. And I can eat pretty much as I want, within reason, of course. But yeah, it helps me not count calories. It also helps me not have to worry about a lot of the garbage food I used to eat in the past, because when I fill up on meats, I just don't want that stuff anymore. So let's go over what I ate this week. Monday was a day off from snow hauling, and we haul a lot of snow here in Alaska. We do this especially at nighttime. So yeah, I'm working around the clock. So I decided to wake up a bit early. I took about a 4-hour nap, and I got up and decided to take the wife out to lunch, because we typically don't go out to eat anymore because our schedules are so conflicting, with me working nights and then sometimes I'm working during the day. And she's constantly here taking care of the kids and making sure all the duties in the house are taken care of as well, which is extremely nice. So before I picked a restaurant to go out to, I was actually talking to a viewer that follows his channel. Me and her, we were talking about, basic ins and outs of going out to eat, some food options, some local options that I have here in the local Anchorage area. And Texas Roadhouse was on the top of that list. Now, that is a place that I would like to go, but unfortunately they open at 4 p.m. and they're not open for lunch hour. So we had to come up with another plan. that didn't necessarily serve steak as the main option. Now, throughout that conversation, I did mention that I was kind of craving a little bit of cabbage and some sprouts. So I was thinking of this Oriental type restaurant, which is called Twin Dragon Mongolian Barbecue. Now, this place is pretty famous here in the Anchorage area, and they've also got some pretty amazing delivery options available. It is a buffet type style restaurant, and it does have a Mongolian barbecue type chef available on site. Now, since that option was brought up as a topic, we were also talking about possible inflammation issues with seed oils, sweeteners, and stuff like that could be integrated into the Mongolian barbecue itself. So knowing that these options of seed oils and sweeteners and stuff like that were going to be present there, I just had to pick my poison that day. Now, when we got to the restaurant, the first thing we did was walk around the buffet to check out the traditional Asian food for Americans, that they present us. A lot of sweet and sour chicken, some Mongolian beef type stuff, and a lot of that had a lot of sauces, a lot of sweeteners, and a lot of inflammatory products that I just didn't care to get into. So pretty much that whole side of the buffet was a big nope for me, and we stuck mainly to the Mongolian side of the restaurant. Now, when I got these big giant bowls, I filled it mainly with proteins. Now, I filled it up as really as stuffed full of proteins as I could possibly get. The proteins that are served there are thinly sliced, beef, pork, and chicken. And you put them in the bowl, and they just kind of take up the whole bowl. Now, when they're cooked down, they really turn into basically nothing. So I filled up the bowl with as much protein as possible. And then I put on a little bit of cabbage and a heaping load of sprouts. Now, in choosing the sauce for this stuff to be cooked in, I was aware that there could be the potential of some soy, there could be some soy sauce, there could be other possible sweeteners. So I did carefully look over the menu there, and the safest option that I could find on the menu was basically what the restaurant caters in the most, which is Mongolian style barbecue. So I picked the Mongolian sauce. So I think the nicest part about eating at a restaurant like this is I get to pick and choose what I want to put in the bowl. So I can focus mainly on the proteins. I can have a few vegetables, cabbage and sprouts. That's innocent enough in my opinion, especially considering I could have just walked around the corner and just totally wrecked it up with some sweet and sour chicken or sesame whatever, and yeah, it would have made me feel horrible at the end of the day. So let's get back to picking my poison. Well, yeah, I knew that some of these trace ingredients were possibly going to be in my food. And sometimes we just have to pick our poison when going out to eat, like natural sugars, for instance. I'll take natural sugars over high fructose corn syrup any given day of the week. And sometimes I will allow a little bit of soy in the form of like soy sauce, for instance. Now, it's just my opinion that it's better to pick your poison than it is to cave into traditional type eating that we used to do in the past. When we got back to our table, we were presented with some egg drop soup. That was pretty good. The wife really decided she liked that a lot. That was pretty much the first thing she had gone. In the meantime, I had already finished my egg drop soup, and I quickly got into the bowl. Now, the bowl was amazing. It just tasted great. It had pretty much everything I was looking for. It had the flavor, the taste, the meat, just enough veggies, the sprouts I was craving, and yeah, it wasn't that bad. So after we had a lovely meal together, we quickly walked out to the vehicle. And as we were walking out to the vehicle, we were discussing, exactly how we felt. Because we were getting in the car, we were tremendously stuffed. I had 3 bowls, and I believe she had 2, plus the egg drop soup. Now, normally when I get in the Jeep, I'm just super bloated. I don't feel very good because I just ate a bunch of carbs. I ate a bunch of unhealthy, sugars and fats and other stuff that just didn't go well in my digestive tract. And like eating the traditional American way of Oriental type cooking. And this is where, I found the benefits really fast. Because before we got to leave, we were both discussing the whole point that, hey, we feel great. We feel energized. We don't feel like we're going to have a carb or sugar crash as soon as we get to the house. Because beforehand, the way we used to eat, we'd pretty much just drive home and take a nap for the rest of the day. So basically eating the old way, the way that we used to eat, the traditional American diet type way, the SAD diet, that's just out the window for me. So the best part about this out to eat experience is, we did pay approximately $8 a bowl. It is a buffet after all, and the restaurant's got to make some money, and we do appreciate the experience of, having a chef there to make our food for us, and he does put on a little bit of a show, and he makes it kind of nice. But it wasn't a bad thing. And I think the nicest part about this whole experience was that I'm starting to trust myself more with my decision-making skills. I mean, I'm 32 weeks into this weight loss, and I do have cravings just like everybody else. But now I'm finding that I can actually get out, be somewhat responsible with my choices and, hopefully, reach my weight loss goals in time. So what did I eat for the rest of the week? So mainly what I eat for the rest of the week is 80-20 frozen burger patties from Costco. Now these are the grass-fed type. They come about 15 in the package. I cook up 3 or 4 of those, maybe toss on some cheese, a little bit of my sauce, and which has a little bit of sugar. Now that's just one of those innocent little things that we got to do just so we can have some enjoyment in our lives. Now beforehand, I would usually cave into some of my cravings as soon as we got home. I'm like talking 3 or 4 hours after we went out and ate a traditional type buffet style meal. Now these unhealthy decisions would usually circle around delivery pizza, for instance. Lots of carbs, lots of sugar, a lot of unhealthy options there. Or I would just head on into the pantry and I would grab a box of those dreaded ramen noodles and I'd make up sometimes 2 to 3 packages of those, and I'd usually wreck it a little bit more by adding on top, some type of soup or something like that just to make it a little more interesting. So one of my main go-tos throughout the week, just to curb some of my morning type food cravings, breakfast for instance, would be hard-boiled eggs. Hard-boiled eggs have become a staple in my fridge. I like to have those on hand just in case I do get a random snack craving. So if I wake up at like 9 o'clock at night and I just can't handle the fact that I just want to eat something, I might pop in a couple hard-boiled eggs. Now beforehand, when I started this journey, I was using other things like dill pickles, for instance. Now, you need to read the ingredient labels. You need to look at the calories and stuff like that on the back of the package. We need to read labels. Labels are super important here. But these dill pickles that I chose were 0 calories, and they had some pretty good health benefits, with the vinegar and stuff like that. I could eat as many of those until I was satiated and I wouldn't want to eat sugary snacks. So it's basically just take one thing and replace it with another to hopefully get over that craving. And over time, like right now, I don't crave pickles anymore. I think I haven't eaten a pickle in quite a while. So towards the end of the week, yesterday in fact, which was Friday, I was having this horrible, unhealthy craving for pizza. Pizza has always been my sin. I have always eaten a lot of pizza. I've eaten the whole pizza. I've eaten the pizza plus pizza. And then I like to eat more pizza after I'm done eating pizza. And I'll come back the following morning and try to eat some more pizza. So that's a whole lot of pizza in a 12-hour span. So in order to cure that craving this week, I decided to quickly make my chicken crust pizza. Now it's just something I can whip up. It only takes a little while. I believe the whole process of getting this pizza from raw ingredients to in the oven and cooked was probably about an hour and a half, which is good. You want to prepare your food. You want to have the preparation time involved. It's just like peeling an egg, for instance. It takes you a little thought and a little process to actually peel an egg without ruining it. So the same thing with your food. If we just continue to make the easy food, we're going to continue to gain weight. Now, I probably ate too much of that food, which is going to reflect somewhat on the scale this week, but that's okay because I know where the weight came from if we did gain some weight at all, but we just never know. Now later on that evening, I did find some hamburger that was thawed out in the fridge. My wife had thawed out some hamburger and then she left town to go to her sister's house out in Wasilla. And I was just like, well, this hamburger needs to be made anyways, so I decided to cook up all that hamburger. I put in some freshly sliced white onions and some of these colorful peppers that my daughter brought home from school. I'm not sure why she got fresh peppers from school, but anyways, they worked good in the recipe and they also added some extra color. So I like to make these burger bowl. The cat just did something crazy in the other room and it sounded loud, but we're going to ignore that. But I like to make these burger bowl type things because typically I have enough left over I can put in the fridge and I can quickly make it for later. Now when I make these burger bowls, I make them basically similar to a salad and I drizzle a little bit of sauce on top. Now I'm talking a couple tablespoons. I'm not talking about just drenching it in sauce because, we can wreck a burger bowl just like you can wreck a healthy salad, say by putting ranch dressing that's loaded with preservatives on it. And Hidden Valley Ranch, you screwed up there. You put a lot of stuff in your ranch dressing, and unfortunately, you have a lot of children addicted to your ranch dressing, which is unfortunate. And sometimes I'll add a little bit of butter on top and definitely some extra salt. I like to use Redmond salt. I did get a Himalayan pink salt from the store the other day it's got a nice little grinder attachment. That thing's pretty nice. I like that. Now, some of the other things that I ate this week, I had some fruit cravings, which is pretty normal from what I've been hearing from other carnivores, is that once in a while you're having fruit cravings. So I have to pick my fruits wisely. I have to pick the fruits that are going to hopefully keep me in ketosis and not throw me completely off the rails. Let's see, I did have some watermelon this week. I did eat some strawberries, and we're talking like 6 ounces of strawberries. Not many strawberries at all. Blueberries, I had quite a few blueberries. I think I ate an entire flat of blueberries throughout a period of approximately 3 days of snacking on those. Now, another thing that I like to eat as a snack, just in emergency cases, is mozzarella cheese sticks. And I like to read the ingredients on my mozzarella cheese stick just to make sure it's made with what it says it's made of, because they can really slide in some crappy stuff. But I think the most important part of doing all this is try to make healthy choices when you're having unhealthy thoughts. The healthier choice that you make, even if it's fruit and it's not on the carnivore train or anything like that, at least try to keep it ketosis friendly, and this will keep your weight loss going, even if you're not getting enough exercise. Now, the nice part about all of this weight loss journey and making these videos and doing this in the house with my wife and my kids is that the kids and the wife are starting to pay attention. And some of these things we're just going to have to learn as we go, because we're trying to pick the poison, the better poison for the kids, because we're trying to get them away from high fructose corn syrup, overly processed foods, the simple stuff, and actually prepare them some food. Now, I did do a comparison here with some peanut butter and jelly, for instance. I mean, when did peanut butter and jelly become such a horrible thing? I mean, I don't know when the transition changed, all the new sweeteners and stuff like this, because it's just horrible what they got in there. And we're going to talk a little bit about that next. Now, I did go to the fridge and I got some strawberry and jelly, for instance, and we did buy a healthier version of strawberry jelly. Now, the Smucker's brand, yeah, that's a good one there. Now, when I was looking on the label at the Smucker's brand, I think the second ingredient on that list was high fructose corn syrup. So basically, you took a somewhat healthy option for many people around the world, and you just turned it into garbage. You turned it into garbage for profit. You're kind of living up to your name, Smucker. But now the healthier version of a strawberry type raspberry jam, this stuff here, it just contains fruit, natural sugars. Now, I'll take the natural sugars over high fructose vegetable oil and soybean any day, especially hydrogenated vegetable oil. That's just been heated and processed, and it's not very well regulated. And it's got no business being in products like that for any reason at all. And then I had another product that I wanted to compare as well, because my wife also went out and she got a healthier type peanut butter. Now, we're comparing this peanut butter to the traditional Jif that most of us find in our house. Wasn't it called Jiffy at one? I thought it was Jiffy, but maybe not. I mean, it just says Jif on the container. So again, this is just another one of those pick your poison type situations. I will always choose sugar over high fructose anything. Now, here's an unfortunate one. Peanut butter, for instance, it's suffering the same fate as the strawberry jam. And go figure, look here. It's made by the same company, Smucker's. So the one good aspect about Jif peanut butter is it does contain some natural sugar, so it doesn't dive right into the high fructose corn syrup. It really isn't necessary in peanut butter, so thankfully they left that out. But the unfortunate problem is it's got other added sugars like molasses, and it also contains fully hydrogenated vegetable oils, rapeseed oil, and vegetable oil. What the hell? Why? Stop it. It really makes me wonder how many people are eating these two particular products made by Smucker's, and they're just not reading the labels on the back. I mean, we really need to start reading all these labels. These labels should be on the front of the package. It should automatically tell us that, yeah, these things contain inflammatory products like seed oils, vegetable oils, stuff that our body just doesn't digest well and it doesn't handle. All right, before we get too much further into the video, let's get the weight loss aspects of the week taken care of. And my cats have always enjoyed the walk down the hallway. Come on, kitties. I got the carpet. Let's go. Come on. It's almost Christmas time. Got a couple more days and it'll be Christmas. Oh no. Just turned on. No star on the tree. Surprised these cats haven't knocked over the tree yet. Oh no. There we go. Let's see what we got going on this gal. Okay, not perfect. Okay. 304.4. We're gonna call it that. Well, okay, guys, there you have it. I did have a slight weight gain this week over last week, which really isn't surprising, being under the amount of stress I've had this week. I did work night shift hauling snow, and then I had to transition into day shift, and we finished up a gravel project in Girdwood, Alaska, and we had to haul some equipment back into town and get it parked before the next blizzard comes in, and thankfully we're off the mountain. That's a good thing. And I also did eat a lot of food yesterday. I did have a burger bowl, and I also had that chicken crust pizza I made. I ate a lot of that pizza. That was really, really good. But okay, let's look at let's see, last week's weight loss. I lost about 2.3 pounds last week. Now, let's see, last week's starting weight was 302.5 minus 304.4. Yep, that's a weight gain of 2.1 pounds. So I gained 2.1 pounds this week compared to last week. So I almost gained the entire amount of weight that I lost last week. Now that's okay, because the majority of that, it's either water weight or it's not fat gain. So that's a positive here, and we got to remember that when we're getting on the scales, because if you just keep getting on and off the scales, it's just going to drive us insane. Now, when I started the weight loss journey, I was 435 pounds. Now, minus 304.4, that's this week's weight. Let's see, that brought me down to 130.6 pounds. That's still a good amount of weight in 32 weeks. I'm still happy with that. Let's see, last week's weight for carnivore. Now I'm 111 days into carnivore. I started the carnivore journey, midway through all of this. And so far it's been a blessing. It works really well with my 90-10 eating principles that I use today. So I started at doing carnivore at 335.6 pounds. And let's see, this week is 302.4, and that's going to be, it's going to be a little higher than it was last week, but yeah, that's 33.1 pounds in 111 days of carnivore. So all in all, that's pretty good. I'm not too upset, and I still have a couple more days to go before Christmas gets here. So we're going to get that weigh in here later on this week, and hopefully see if something might have changed. Santa might have come. We don't know. So the creation of this video today took me hours to actually hit the record button, because Christmas time is almost here. Now, Christmas is usually the saddest part of my year, because I'm usually missing my children from previous relationships that have failed me over my past, and not because of one thing or another. It's usually because of myself. And then I always have the added stress of January and February here in Alaska, which tend to be the coldest months of the year. Now, that's when all the utilities go up through the roof. That's when all the lights are typically left on in the house. The electric bill is going to go up. The heating bill always goes up because, yeah, it's just cold. And we live in a trailer home. So for those of us living in the Anchorage area, our temperatures do tend to be warmer than they are, like, say, out in Wasilla, which is 10 to 20 degrees colder this time of year. So we hold hope that that cold weather doesn't exactly get here and makes it to the point where our cars don't like to start in the morning, because that just adds another level of frustration for anybody. Now, another reason the Christmas season is a sad time of year is because we tend to have gotten away from the actual meaning of Christmas, and we had more commercial gatherings and stuff like that. People focus more on presents and shopping and stuff like that than the actual reason behind Christmas. That does make me a little bit sad. So Christmas hasn't come yet. I'm not sure what Santa's plans are. I know Santa's got to be busy running around the country delivering all these toys to young boys and girls. So on Christmas Day, I'm actually going to do a follow-up weigh-in. I'm just going to at least record the weigh-in, see what my weight is, and hopefully Santa brought me a present this year. But as we all know, Santa's got more important things to do than worry about a fat man trying to lose a couple pounds. So if you're old like me and still believe in Santa Claus, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and give me a comment down below. And I'll hopefully see you in the next one.
Oh my goodness, Santa brought me a Christmas kitty. It's under the tree. Merry Christmas, everybody.
All right, you two, knock it off. I'm doing stuff. You know this.